Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm doing another get ready with me. I promised this a long time ago. I just suck at like following through with things, but I promised this a long time ago, a get ready with me while I talk about some of the very intense, dumb rules at the old Catholic private school I used to go to, as well as some of the things that I got detentions for. Also, if I sound different, that's because I'm still sick from like 2 weeks ago. Still sort of borderline dying. I'm getting through it though. So yeah, I'm just gonna be doing my makeup while I talk about, I have like a whole list. I like made a document because there's that many fucking things. And I have to beat my face today. In a few hours I'm working in the cosmetic section at the place I work, and nobody like thinks I know what I'm talking about unless my face is like fully beat. Otherwise, if I'm there like barefaced trying to tell them which product is best, they just don't believe me. Okay, so before I get into all of these rules that I have, look, I'll show you. Okay, that's my ring light, you can see. But here's my list of the rules and then some of the things I got detention for. So we're gonna get into that, but first I'm gonna do my eyebrows off camera as I usually do because it's too stressful to do it while being recorded. So I'll be back. Okay, so I'm back with eyebrows, and yes, the camera angle is different because I just moved it. I just remembered that like I have a few disclaimers. First of all, if you don't know the school I'm talking about, I made a video on it maybe a month or two ago. It's a private Catholic school that I went to for like 4 years, and then I changed in my senior year to a public school, and I made a video on the reasons why I did that, so I'll link that down below. And second of all, St. Stephen's, if you're watching this isn't me trying to boycott you again. This is just a fun little topic. Everyone knows that St. Stephen's has like really fucked up rules, like really intense rules. I wasn't like a troublemaker, but yet your girl still managed to get her fair amount of detentions. Okay, so the first thing we're going to cover is the rules that are based around appearance, because they were very strict on what you looked like. They pretty much wanted everybody to look exactly the same. If you didn't follow them, you would get litter duty. So you aren't allowed to wear makeup or nail polish. You'd have to take those off if you got caught wearing that. You had to have your hair tied up at all times and out of your face. Boys' hair had to be shorter than their collar, and if it did touch their collar, they would get suspended until they went and got a haircut. You weren't allowed to wear any jewelry except for a necklace that had a cross on it. So you weren't allowed to wear rings, bracelets, anything else. You also had to have these black leather shoes, and they had to have a 2 centimeter heel on them to be acceptable. Like no more, no less. Like they deadass would measure your shoes to make sure that they were the right ones. And the same went for earrings. You weren't allowed to wear hoops, you could only wear studs, and they had to be less than 5 millimeters in diameter, I think it was. So it had to be like really tiny. Obviously you're not allowed any like visible tattoos or any piercings other than 2 in each ear, I think it was. Every item of clothing that you wore had to be from the designated store that they sold it from. So the only socks you could wear were the ones from this one store in Mariba. They were not that special of a sock, but you had to wear those exact socks, otherwise you'd get detention for that too. These socks were $8 a pair. They're just like these plain beige socks that you just like fold over. But if you didn't wear those socks for a day, if you just so happened to wear plain white socks, you'd get detention for that. There was also 1 day a week that you got to wear your sports uniform. Every other day it was a formal uniform, which is like a blouse and a skirt. But 1 day a week you got to wear a sports uniform. But if you forgot that, that's also a detention. And best believe I got detention for wearing the wrong socks. And I got detention for wearing nail polish, and I got detention for wearing makeup, and I got detention for pretty much anything you could have wrong with your uniform. Some of the other random ridiculous rules they had. So your hair ties. This one I thought was like way over the top. So you had to have either navy blue or beige hair ties. So I couldn't wear like a black hair tie. Obviously you can't wear this, but like if I ever wore a black hair tie to school, they would pull me up on it and they would either make me change it or give me a navy ribbon to wrap around it so you couldn't see the black hair tie, because God forbid I wear a black hair tie. They also had a no gum rule, which I think a lot of schools actually have, but like they would give you detention if they caught you with gum, like straight up. It just, because like once a week we get to do sport, but if you get caught with gum, you get to write lines. That's another thing I haven't talked about. Apart from litter duty, another form of detention they had was writing lines. So it literally was like a 2-sentence phrase, like, I will not chew gum as it is against the St. Stephen's Code of Conduct or some shit like that. And then they'd be like, you have to write this out 20 times. And you'd have to write these lines out, and that would be a detention. So, got caught with gum, you don't get to play sport, you get to write lines. So this one isn't applicable anymore, but when I first started there, we had a formal hat, which was some kind of leather flat hat. Then we also had a white bucket hat. So when you get off the bus or out of your car or whatever, as you're walking into the school grounds, you'd have to wear this leather formal hat. If I can find a photo, I'll put one up, but you had to wear that hat coming in. And if you didn't, there's always a person that's at the entrance and they would give you lines to write out. So if you didn't have the correct hat walking in, you'd have to write out, I will not forget to wear my formal hat, like whatever the lines were, like 20 times. And then if you didn't have them done by the next day, it would double. And it would just like keep going up. But then once you got into the school grounds, you could either keep wearing that hideous flat hat or you could put on your bucket hat, it doesn't matter. Once again, another thing that'll get you lines. We had this student record book, or SRB for short. We'd have to write out every class we had every day, and then if we had any homework next to it, and then what the homework was. And that was also what teachers would write notes in, and then we have to take it home to show our parents, and then they would have to sign off on it every week. And if you didn't sign off on it, you would get more lines. And these ones are like a fucking paragraph because it's the means of communication. And then there was the rules, like you have to participate in prayer, you have to say a prayer every day, which is just kind of like expected because it's a Catholic school. One that St. Stephen's is very well known for is that you're not allowed to walk on the grass. You'll get detention if you walk on the grass, which is like actually understandable. Where the school is in Mariba, it's 300 study days a year, so it's like dead, and they have to like keep sprinklers on at all times and keep it going to like have green grass. So like I get why they don't want us to walk on the grass, but like they're kids at that school. You can't give a kid detention for stepping on the grass. But speaking of that, some of the things now, they're just some of the rules that I thought would be fun to share. Also, if you're wondering what this is the setting powder I'm using at the moment. I've just been mixing like 2 of them together, half and half. Obviously, I did get detention for just walking on the grass regularly, but in primary school, I think all primary schools are sort of the same. At lunchtime, you would just go out in the oval and play, like, you know, run around, do whatever the fuck you want to do on the oval, because like, I don't know, that's just what we did in primary school. Anyway, so I get over to St. Stephen's, and so when it was lunchtime, a couple of my friends and I were like, oh, you know, it's lunchtime, we'll go out in the oval and play. We go out there. There was like nobody in the oval. And we're like, what the fuck? Well, whatever. We went out there. I don't know. We're like near the sandpits, just like walking around, having a look. And shocking, truly shocking, we got detention because you're not supposed to be on the oval unless you're playing a sport with a supervised teacher, which made absolutely no sense. Yet, because my friends and I were just fucking dumb bitches, we still kept going out in the oval and testing our luck. We went out there one time, my friend, I'm not gonna say her name, but we went out there. There was a stick on the oval. So what I did was I picked the stick up. There was literally nobody in the oval. Like, it's like I was throwing it at someone, and I threw it like a javelin. And I got detention for that because it was unsafe and it could have harmed somebody when I was the only person on the oval because nobody's allowed in the oval. Oh, another appearance one that I didn't mention is polishing your shoes because they're leather shoes and they'd like fade. You'd have to polish them, and I never did, like ever, because I was just too lazy. Like it got to the point where on photo day my shoes were so bad and I was like, I'm short, so I'm like the one sitting at the front, and they literally polished my shoes for me because I never did it. I got detention for having tinted eyebrows because apparently it's makeup even though it's tinted, so like it's not gonna come off. And I almost got detention because apparently I have unnatural hair because like there, see how it's lighter there? Because it's like natural streaks in my hair. So apparently that's unnatural coloring, and I almost got detention for that. even though it's very natural because I've never dyed my hair. Okay, so this one is like probably one of the craziest ones. Like, not the craziest, but it's just like, I was like, what the actual fuck? You know how when you like walk next to someone and you like put your arm around their shoulder and then they put their arm around your shoulder and you sort of just walk like that? So one day my friend and I were doing that in the morning as she was like walking into school, and a teacher stopped us and then was like, she told us that we're gonna be like, we get detention for it and we have to go pick up rubbish, because she thought it was just a hug, which was okay, but then we just didn't let go of each other. So that's like too much touching and we need to get a detention for it because they have like a no touching rule. So I got to pick up rubbish before I went to class for like 15 minutes. And then another one similarly, we were like holding my friend up for some reason. We were just like walking and she just like put her arm around our shoulders and then sort of like lifted herself up, and we got detention for that because it's unsafe lifting her up. We just didn't learn. Now that I'm like repeating all the things we got detention for, we just didn't care or learn. So on, I think it was Gmail that we used back then, I can't remember, but whatever it was, so you could chat on there, and we would always chat on there and say like the most ridiculous things and like talk shit about our teachers and whatever. The computers were all school computers, you weren't allowed to bring your own, and they had this thing on there called LAN School, which means that the teachers can log in and see exactly what you're doing. They can literally watch your screen and take control if they want to, and like take screenshots of what you're doing. We would always get in trouble, constantly get detention for using it. We would just keep using it though. And I remember one time my friend said that she was gonna get ass fucked by a teacher in like a joking manner, as in like, oh my god, I didn't do my assignment, like I'm gonna get ass fucked, which is like obviously horrible thing to say, but that's just like what our grade talked like. And then we got in huge trouble for that. It also was an immediate detention if we went onto Urban Dictionary, which I feel like everybody knows what Urban Dictionary is. It's like just a dictionary but for like phrases and words that aren't in the real dictionary or terms that are now being used for something else. I remember my friend went on there one time in science, and as soon as she did, there was an announcement over the speaker that was like, her name, can you please report to the principal's office? And she went down and she got detention. Like, they don't fuck around. God doesn't support Urban Dictionary, so neither does St. Stephen's. I don't know if I mentioned, I don't think I did. So if you get caught having your phone on you or being on your phone, you get it taken off you for a week. Like, they will confiscate it for a week. So the thing that got me in the most amount of trouble was one day after we had immunizations, a boy in my religion class took a photo of me and my friend, and we were like smiling at the cameras and like showing where we got our needles because we were so tough, and he uploaded it onto Instagram, and then somehow, who fucking knows how, the school found it, and then we got detention for it. I got litter duty for a week because even though it wasn't my phone and I didn't take the photo and I didn't upload it, I was smiling at the camera, which means that I knew that he had a phone and I didn't tell the teacher. And then I started like this huge conspiracy thing because apparently the school made a fake account on Instagram and was following all the students. I don't know if that's true or not, but we did find an account that was like unnamed and had no photo that was following pretty much everybody. So that was fun and fresh. But yeah, I got litter duty for a week, and then the boy who took the photo got suspended. So that was like probably the thing I got in trouble for the most. Other random smaller things, I almost got detention one time when they lost a form of mine that I handed in. They lost it and then they accused me of never handing it in, and then they almost gave me detention until they actually found it. Also things like being late, which was just like constantly. Throwing a piece of bread on the grass. Forgetting my uniform for PE, forgetting my cooking shoes when we did cooking. When you're in senior, you have a little tie that you like attach to your shirt. If you ever forgot that one, you would also get a detention. Having writing on me or pen at all stained on me, you'd get detention, you'd have to wash that off. Having my skirt too short, I would get detention. Rolling the sleeves up, okay, so this would get me detention. So we had jumpers that we could wear, and if you happen to do this, you would get detention. You either have to wear it normally or take it off. We also got detention, my group and I, various times for killing the grass where we sat, because we had like benches that were like in a square on a patch of grass where we would sit at lunch, and shocking, the grass died after us sitting in the same place every day for a year, and so we got detention for that. Okay, so that's most of the rules that I can think of. Obviously some things have changed since I've been there, because now I see all the girls having like tinted eyebrows, eyelash extensions, fake nails. If I did that, I would have been destroyed. So like obviously things are changing a little bit. And I would also just want to say that these are the rules of a lot of Catholic schools, and I knew these were the rules before I went there. I still just think that they are a little bit over the top, because like you're kids, and they say like the appearance rules are for when you leave school and enter the workplace. But I'll tell you right now, I'm about to go to work. I don't have a special colored hair tie. I'm wearing makeup. I have fake nails. The workplace doesn't care as much as schools do, so they can't really use that excuse. There are a few things I like missed out just because I am bored and I don't really keep talking about the school because it's like not a good time. So if you're from St. Stephen's or from any other Catholic school and there's a rule that I didn't mention that you think is over the top, make sure you leave it down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and enjoyed me just talking about some of the dumb rules and things I got detention for at St. Stephen's while doing my makeup. So if you liked this video and you want me to do more like this, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video.